have you seen that Flash game?
Wait.
Fuck. You were hallucinating the whole time.
No.
It's like a parody of Spec Ops: The Line, where it has like you play like these generic like old school games like Snake or like even Pong at one point, but it's just like it'll have you like be a little Pac-Man thing just eating the balls, that it just afterwards goes, you were hallucinating the whole time, the dots were little children, you monster. And then there was like for the Pong one, it's even like it gets ridiculous when it just has you play Pong, and then it's like, you were hallucinating the whole time, you were keeping the ball away from a child, you monster.
Man, we gotta play that.
Yeah, that'll be a bonus episode.
You know what? We should probably talk more about this after the recording.
We should probably actually get into this. So,
Okay.
Shall we start now?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, listeners. I am Big Box McCringle.
Oh my
and
god.
This is
Wait.
episode 2 of Mediocre Marvels. Today we're talking
This is
about
our-
Alan Wake, and we are...
Sorry, quick thing. Shouldn't we just call this episode 1 since this is almost
Details.
Details.
This is episode 2. We've always been doing the show in this format. So we are now in Alan Wake in its second part. This is a flashback sequence at the beginning of episode 2 of Alan Wake.
Yep.
We are suddenly clean shaven, presumably at a better period in his life. Alan Wake in his apartment that I'm going to guess is New York, because it's always New York.
It must be New York. He's a struggling writer. He has to be from New York. Come on, guys. Either that or it's Maine, because Stephen King.
And if you haven't been keeping up with the plot, because we did talk over it a lot in the first episode, the basic premise is that in the main game, in the future from this, Alan has gone to the town of Bright Falls to relax and focus on his writing, and his wife has disappeared, as wives in horror stories tend to do.
I'm turning on subtitles, by the way.
And he is awoken with amnesia, and the manuscript to a book he can't remember writing is lying all around him, telling him what's about to happen to him.
Oh, look at that.
Look at those photos. Oh, are those probably...
Those are live action, yeah.
Yeah, those
That's
would be
something else
the...
I found out about.
They got a real model to do all
Yeah.
the main cast. So.
Yeah, the thing is... So this is going to be a bit of a departure, because Mediocre Marvels, as this segment and possibly entire show type thing is. So we decided... Well, actually, you more so came up with this idea.
We decided.
Well, yeah, we decided. Maybe we should do more research into this and actually look at... Or wait, the cover-ups, I think they're actually in the bedroom. But we decided to do more research on these kind of games and just, take a look at what they've been... missed opportunities and how they could have been fixed and stuff, because we want to be a bit more productive than two assholes just commenting on the hard work of a bunch of people for 5 years of their lives.
They really did. I mean... Yeah. I will also... Okay, I think we were also particularly harsh on it last week, and I should be fair, because I did some research to just the fan base of this game. Mm-hmm. And it has sort of the fan base you'd expect from this type of a game. There's a fair amount of people who... Did you play this when it came out?
I played, like I said, there was a friend of mine who really loved it, so I played, like, a good chunk of it.
Gotcha.
I know, and you said you played it when it first came out, right?
Yeah, I played it when it first came out. I played through it in probably like a week so.
The Fall of Casey. No, go ahead.
Oh, that is a nice little detail.
That is a nice detail. Okay. Is that supposed to be a Max Payne reference?
Probably.
That's actually really cute. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I like also Snowy Hills. I'm going to assume that's Silent Hill.
Oh, wait, really? Wait,
no, up above. On the next shelf up.
Oh, yeah, that's
a nice detail.
That is a good detail. As you were saying.
Yeah, so I guess you could say this game has a cult following, but most of the stuff I've found talking about it, it's become, you know how in the old days of Blockbuster you might see a movie on a shelf that you've never heard of that's sort of like pretty decent?
Yeah.
This is basically taken on that sort of status of games. It's sort of a forgotten...
I'm just gonna bring this closer to you.
It's not a forgotten gem, but it's a forgotten something.
It's a forgotten
and we
niche
sort of
appeal, kind of.
Yeah, and we're sort of here to look at maybe why it got forgotten.
Yeah.
So this is actually the obvious comparison, I think, for this game would be Life is Strange. It's just there's the episodic nature, the setting, the jumping around with time.
The way people talk in a way that feels like foreigners try to write Americans.
Yeah, it wasn't. Where is Remedy from?
They're from Finland.
Yeah, that's what I
Finnish,
thought.
I'm pretty sure.
What is it with Europeans in the Pacific Northwest?
I think it's just Twin Peaks. I think they all just probably watch Twin Peaks and they like David Lynch and they're like, I want to make that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And plus, as you said once, there's a reason why America does have the biggest film industry and biggest television shows because everybody watches them.
Oh, well, yeah. I thought it was just because we had a fuckload of money. It's an industrial technology. It's not like Ethiopia just wasn't paying attention to the film industry in 1910. It was that they didn't have the full
money.
force of an industrial powerhouse behind it.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, so a good thing that Life is Strange did with its setting, though, was it focused on perhaps a more relatable character and dealt with more down-to-earth subject matter. It had people with family issues, and they're in a broke town, and you actually get to the character lives in the town too.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I think it's sort of odd that this game was named Alan Wake because Alan himself is the least interesting part of the story. He's not.
It's very static kind of characterization.
Yeah, he's very stoic. He reacts as an everyman would to the circumstances he's in. But the circumstances he's in are, more interesting than him himself. And so the focus on Alan, even just the name Alan Wake, you can sort of see why maybe people didn't pay attention to it because he's just look at him, he's just another he looks, his name even sounds like Nathan Drake. You ever see that old picture where someone could put
every
game protagonist from this decade?
It's all the same.
It's all the same fucking dude. There he is. That's Commander Shepard.
Well, it's Commander Shepard if you make sure he looks that way. But Commander Shepard is
default Shepard.
Default Shepard.
Yeah.
Well, Default Shepard also has the shaven head, but everything else, it's the same thing. Yeah, the thing is,
it's always got to be brown hair too, because if they had it be black hair or blonde hair, then that might be too distinctive. Yeah. You got to go for the complete middle of the road of the hair color spectrum.
Yeah, it doesn't even have the excuse of my brown hair, because my brown hair is
brown hair is darker.
It's super dark, yeah. And no game has that. And I guess it's too unique.
Yeah. And they,
It's too unique.
Fucking, yeah, but they did, every game from this decade had to feature this dude.
This dude.
This dude spoke for all of us in our younger years.
No wonder things are fucked up.
All right, so you gotta go talk to Sarah.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sarah's the sheriff. I almost forgot about that. The other thing is what this game should have.
He said she's in her office. There was a door back there.
Yeah, but I was just seeing if there's anything else that you can interact with. Was all.
Oh yeah.
But no, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this conference room looks a lot like the one from Twin Peaks.
Gee, I wonder if that was a
Jesus, this looks exactly like the office of Twin Peaks. Gee, oh my god, they got the whole station layout. Yeah, this is just the police station from Twin Peaks.
The layout's slightly different, but it's the same vibe, it's the same tone.
Your phone's on the desk. The battery is dead. It's charged now.
I see you aren't looking at me exactly, but that's okay.
My men are already on it.
The one thing this game could have learned from Dale Cooper is that, what's funny about Dale Cooper is he's just the single most chipper person on the planet in a town that's relatively normal.
Yeah, and also you expect the FBI agent to be a gruff dick, but no, he absolutely loves wholeheartedly everything.
Yeah, he's just, my Verizon cell phone. Yeah, so, just to finish that tangent. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Look at that mustache. But so let's talk about some of like the research that we put in. One of the interesting things, since I just saw our Verizon branded cell phone, what's interesting, there's a lot of product placement in this game, and I'm not entirely sure why is the weird thing. As I don't know if they I mean, obviously they probably give the money for it, but I don't know what the point of it is. It's not like it's terrible or anything. It's not like Man of Steel levels of distracting when you're tossing a U-Haul at Superman. But it's weird that there's like all of it in there.
There's actually a lot of games in this, sort of before this era, actually probably around the time I remember that. So this game started development in 2005. And a lot of the games from that period had in-game product placement all over them. Yeah. Especially like driving games.
I remember Bionic Commando apparently had a lot of product placement for like Pepsi or something like that.
Weird.
But I think that's only because I saw the zero punctuation of it where he described that there was a bunch of Pepsi machines just inexplicably everywhere.
I know that I think it was Battlefield 2142 had like billboards that they actually like rented out ad space. If I remember correctly, they like actually like people, it was actively like putting up different ads for people up until like 2012. So man, that was like... Okay.
I wonder if the graphics are set to low because, man, look at these.
Yeah, those look like shit.
I'm gonna... Alright, I need to check this. Okay, so advanced options. We're on the high setting. Yeah. Wow, these are all high. I mean... I know this was developed. Well, the thing is, what we found out.
I love those settings because they're there just sort of to psych out casual players. Advanced settings, I can handle. Oh fuck, no, I can't.
Shit.
I don't know what a goddamn word here means.
I mean, apparently this was developed, and apparently they were developed this for PC for a while, for like 4 years or something.
Examine the junker.
Wait, what?
It says examine the junker. You gotta go.
Oh, I have to go.
You have to get over there somehow. There's a little hole. The guy on the radio said there was a hole in that fence, so you gotta get in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, because you just can't jump over a fence these days. Okay. Oh wait, he meant this fence.
Yeah, that fence. See that board? There's a hole in the.
Okay.
There's a.
I'm just wondering.
Hop up on this platform maybe, and then.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow. Fuck. Dude did not skip leg day.
I know, man. I never thought a writer would be this jacked, but hey, shows what I know. I know, buddy.
See, big missed opportunity here is that he only ever announces one story bits that are about to happen anyways, and I think it misses because there's no creative bosses or anything.
Yeah, are there even bosses? I don't remember for the life of me.
I remember like swarms, but that's it. They don't really get past the same generic few enemies.
Yeah, that is a missed opportunity.
It is. I mean,
this is what the whole point of the show is. This. There's a lot of wasted potential here, but I think we should point out is that it's clear that Remedy seems to really care about what they do.
Yeah.
Though I will say, I saw this interview with Sam Lake, the writer of this game. Well, co-writer, but like the main writer because he's now the head of Remedy. Man, he wants to make TV shows so bad. He really just wants... Because there's this one point... It turns out, so their new game, Quantum Break, which neither of us have played, I'm assuming, right? Because you haven't played it?
I haven't played it.
Yeah, so apparently the thing is it actually had a TV show in it. Like an actual TV show.
Maybe just go back in through the front door.
It had like a TV show in it, and after you finished like an episode of the game, it had an episode of the TV show.
Yeah, he's just passed out.
Nope, don't care.
It's nice that they put in these details, but I think I will say is that there's a lot of these sort of like quiet, like long, sort of just walking around doing mundane things segments here, which is also a big component of Life is Strange. But Life is Strange, well, it does get really tedious. It was wise of them to include that time mechanic because they can use it for sort of gameplay mechanic that this offers beyond its atmosphere is the light thing.
Yeah.
Which, well, we just saw an allusion to it with that guy in the cell. He asked you to turn the light on, which is a nice little touch. Maybe if we didn't turn the light on, there would have been consequences there, but
That would, yeah.
but we don't see this sort of core mechanic there. We don't get to see it come up in any of these circumstances, and they end up just being slightly more active cutscenes.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that could be more fun to enjoy.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I saw in that flashback sequence, there was definitely a bit more of like, and I like trying to mix the mechanics of the game with the story, basically.
Yeah.
I love the Hawaiian shirt under his because it's clear he got here from a vacation. that's a good detail. But wait, what was I saying? I can't remember.
What were you saying?
I don't even remember.
Barry just came in and
Barry just
stole
kind
the
of
show.
Yeah, Barry. So, oh yeah, that's right, mechanics. So it's like we see the mechanics kind of worked a lot better with like say, you know, the lights turn out and you have to grab a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish you could play through more of that. Like you'd have to go to get the lights back on rather than sort of cutting to a cutscene.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, back to that Sam Lake thing, just to finish this, because I realized when watching the last episode, I went on to these tangents and then I would stop because the game happened, so I need to remember to finish where I was going on. But I think there's this one point when the interviewer is like, so now that you've dabbled in television shows, do you see yourself making television shows? And Sam Lake pauses for the longest time, and you could tell he so badly just wants to say, yes, I want to do this. But he's like, you know, we don't know what the future is. You know, we may not know. It's that thing where you know he doesn't want to piss off fans and he doesn't want to lose, you know, the fan base and stuff like that. I mean, that's a problem with the game industry where, you know, a lot of people who are in games really want to make movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's a lot of that with at least Sam Lake. I'm not entirely sure how the rest of the team...
This is also just the Great Northern Hotel.
Yes, it is the Great... Okay, there's no even hiding it anymore.
No.
This is the Great Northern Hotel.
That's exactly what it is.
But
there's actually, also in this game, you'll see by the bridge, there's like a bridge with a waterfall that's just that shot from the opening credits that shows like the waterfall by the Great Northern. But yeah, you were right. That is a big problem with video games. I think too.
And it's kind of becoming worse, I'd say, in certain regards.
Especially as prestige TV becomes more saturated.
Yeah.
And more sort of mainstream.
Yeah.
Well, not more. It is mainstream.
Well, it is
mainstream. It's as big as movies these days. But
this isn't the days of Lost. I don't know. I've never watched Lost.
You never watch it? Don't.
No, don't watch it.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I mean...
Well, actually, I
talk
lied.
about setting up tangents and not delivering on them. That's Lost for you.
I will say I tried to watch it and then I just couldn't. I just kind of got bored about halfway through season 1.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder how prestige TV has even survived as long as it has.
Well, it got better than Lost.
It did get better than Lost, thank God.
You know, there was...
there was Breaking Bad. There was,
Yeah, Breaking Bad was good.
Breaking Bad that's a show, like, I think you described it once, and I agree.
think you gotta go talk to that dude out on the...
Yeah. I'm looking for manuscript pages. Oh, yeah. But, I think you described it's like a show that could really suck. Like, it could really suck, and all of its fans kind of continually sabotage it because they keep liking it for the wrong reasons kind of show, where it's a really, really great show.
Yeah, I don't know about like wrong reasons. I think just some of the fans.
Well, that's
are
where
very,
people
very
are like,
annoying.
Walter White is such a badass, bro, kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean.
There is that. Although, admittedly, like that is kind of why you watch the show.
Kind of.
I mean, that's that is sort of the vicarious thrill you sort of get by watching this other dude do all the crime as he does it, so that he does it better than you and cooler than you, so that you don't have to do all the crime and die.
Yeah. Remarkable how, like, Tony Soprano was the exact same thing, almost.
See, I want to hate on this boring fetch quest of go and just take the form over to Rusty, but, I mean, Life is Strange did pull that kind of shit
Like,
fairly
here's the
often.
thing is like, the difference between that and this is that I think you were supposed to pick up the keys.
Oh.
But the thing is like Life is Strange is all about that. That's kind of like the point, is that it's these mundane little things. Whereas this is like, it's a mundane thing after you just went around shooting a bunch of floggermen.
Yeah.
And nobody's really talking about it. That's what kind of... See, this is where it like goes wrong, is that... It's that... I think people are calling it BioShock Infinite problem, where it's like, you know, it has this really deep narrative or whatever, but then, you know, you go around killing a bunch of people.
They can't see the air quotes, right?
Insert air quotes here.
Deep
End quote. End quote. And I like BioShock Infinite, but I think it actually works better, like the gameplay and with the story, because the fact that you're on this city that's trying to kill you and they have a reason to.
Yeah.
I'd say it's actually more of a systemic problem in games like Naughty Dog, like with The Last of Us, where you're just killing all these just endless barrages of people, and it's supposed to be this, you know, how life is so fragile and all that, and you just go around killing like 20 people in each room. And like
I remember there was a great
also,
comic
can we
I
just
saw
say
once.
how big that light switch panel is? Like,
It was reinstalled later. It's an old house.
oh, fair. Well, it was the same at the police station, so I guess they've all had them replaced in this town.
Well, look how fat Alan Wake jogs everywhere he goes, so you gotta suspend your disbelief
Fair
somewhere.
enough, that's true. But yeah, that's
what
like,
the fuck
I think...
is he making these pages out of? Moon dust? They're shiny as fuck.
I know. I mean, it's so convenient, though, that we could see them from far away.
Is there a way... How do we play those?
Wait, what?
How do we...
I think maybe it's in the start menu? Oh, okay. Is it in the back menu?
So this stuff. So here's another thing with this, that there's like nighttime and daytime, and nighttime is when spooky stuff happens, and daytime is when it isn't. But because there aren't really any game mechanics during the daytime, it's like the game just has to pause.
Yeah.
Because also, if they even Mass Effect, like it managed to juggle too by making conversations an active thing that you're a part of.
Yeah.
And other games have done that, but this game, you just sort of got to watch this plot unfold, and the plot so far is, you know, it's just a missing wife with a writer and generic monsters.
I think I've heard this story before. Maybe it was in this place called Snowy Hill or something. Well, to be fair, it was a clerk. And no. The first one is a writer too. I forgot about that. And it's Harry Mason from the first Silent Hill is a writer.
Oh, is he?
I'm pretty sure he's a writer.
And that's
if I remember,
Stephen King
at first it
influence.
was a writer, a writer, a clerk, a teenage girl, and a twat were the leads of the first four Silent Hill games, respectively, to quote a great critic. But yeah, but it's that dissonance between, you know, mechanics and stuff like that, where you just go around killing all these people, and it's become both better and worse over time. To me, BioShock Infinite, everybody blames that because, you know, it has these pretensions to all this kind of stuff, but like I said, I think the real problem lies in, like, you know, in like Last of Us and those other Oscar baity type games, which essentially are trying to tell this deep narrative, but there's so much killing and murder in there, and it's a problem.
Yeah.
Unless you're making like Spec Ops: The Line, where there's kind of the point is.
Although he still does slaughter a whole.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, maybe if the army hadn't drilled that tactic of only attack in a small group of people at a time, never rally your forces to anything bigger.
Maybe, but you know, at least there was a point to it.
Yeah.
Like,
it called that out.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing a great comic that showed it's the end of Uncharted 2, and it's the villain going to Nathan Drake, and he's like, just tell me, how many people have you killed today? And he goes, 5,000 or 6,000.
But at the very least, Uncharted is almost Indiana Jones-esque thing. The only problem with Uncharted is that they never give a good enough villain where you don't feel... where you shouldn't be second-guessing that you're killing people. I mean, Nazis were great for Indiana Jones because, you know... Why the
they
fuck
can
should
just
you...
blow up a whole fucking truck full of them. They're Nazis. Fuck.
They're fucking Nazis. No one likes Nazis except for Nazis. And there's a reason why you don't...
Yeah.
Well, there's more than that, obviously.
That was actually a great quote from... developer of the new Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
The most recent one where the Nazi, like KKK was villains and Nazi stuff. And he was like, and the developer was like, do you worry about maybe offending people with this? He's like, the only people who would be offended by this would be Nazis. Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. That's the thing. It's the same with Infinite. Is like you're basically killing a bunch of KKK members, kind of, or white supremacists. So it's like whenever people are like, "Well, you're killing all these policemen," I'm like, "You're killing a bunch of policemen who are systemically, weeding out anybody who isn't white cisgender."
Yeah. Like they're pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, it's like, and. Whereas, in The Last of Us, you're just killing a bunch of people who mostly just want to kill you because, you're on their territory and you've been killing all of them because, well, to be fair, they attacked first, but,
yeah,
going through all that stuff.
One
quick tangent. Apparently, the former writer of The Last of Us movie has called out Neil Druckmann as an asshole in The Hitchhiker.
On the note of actually TV, did you hear that they are, or at least a year ago, they said they were trying to adapt this into a TV show?
Wait, what?
Alan Wake, they say they might,
they
say it's in the works, which I wouldn't, if you're an Alan Wake fan, I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Neither would I. Though I do know they really want to make TV shows now, so it might actually happen, but I don't think it would probably end up being that good.
Yeah, I mean, again,
to be fair, I think that this story would work maybe a little bit better as a TV show as opposed to a game, just because they really liked the idea of a TV show. That's the thing. But
it has all these central gimmicks, but again, it's just it's a story we've heard.
Yeah.
It's not that interesting of a story to sort of carry us through. It's not that interesting enough of a story to carry us through the dialogue bits.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we gotta kill Rusty now.
So I guess this is like the closest thing we get to boss fights, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. It's something like that.
And it's like Harry S. Truman just snapped and started to kill you.
I was thinking President Truman, because he does look a bit like President Truman.
Yeah. Another interesting thing we should mention was interesting, and I think that this game should have embraced, was the kind of an open world type thing in a certain respect. Because I could see this working more in an open world with more, because it makes more sense for these open levels, because it feels like they designed the whole town, because apparently they worked on it for 6 months that way, and then they dropped it. But it feels like they designed the whole town and laid it out, and then they just set levels in there, but restricted you from going to different places. And I know they said they did it because they wanted to control the pacing, but, I mean, in this town, there wouldn't be that much to do. It just means that you would have a bit more freedom to, kind of have the pace that you want to go at.
Yeah, and I mean, this pacing, too, is so start-stop all the time.
Yeah.
In an open world, they could actually, because there are open world games that have made use of a day-night mechanic.
Exactly.
Which is sort of central to the whole, caveat of this game, but,
because they mentioned that a lot as well, from what I heard, that they were trying to really kind of control the pacing and all that stuff, and I'm all for that, but there comes a point with a game when you kind of take too much control away from the player, and it just becomes kind of like, okay, listen, if you want this much control of the pacing, just make a movie or make a TV show.
Yeah.
What did you find, by the way?
I mean, a lot of the same details. I saw the incredibly long production time. I noticed that the game obviously went through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
It started with 2005, it was just like a tech demo.
Yeah.
That was very different looking.
Oh, really?
Well, not that different looking, but it looked like they probably, I don't know if they had the day-night mechanic yet. It didn't seem to discuss it. They actually seem to regularly try to show off stuff for this game, every E3, and it sort of became it sort of became a joke, this game was never going to come out.
Like Duke Nukem Forever vaporware type thing.
And I think it even sort of shows that this game has such a long development cycle, because you'll notice the way we're fighting off all these zombie monster things, sort of, it's very Resident Evil 4.
To be fair, though, there are worse games to rip off than Resident Evil 4.
There are, but remember that Resident Evil 4 was made at a time when you can only fit so many enemies onto, like,
exactly,
a given stage.
Don't forget, left bumper and the left stick to dodge. That's how you dodge. But go ahead.
I gotta find some help. But yeah, oh, fuck. I
think you just gotta kill him. Well, run away.
Run away.
But as you're saying about enemy numbers?
Yeah, we never fight really much more than like a handful of dudes in this game, and I think that probably was a holdover from that Resident Evil 4 school of thought, because this game was like 2005, but by 2010, I mean, Dead Rising was what, like 2006? So like...
You mean Dead Space or
Dead Rising? Dead Rising.
Yeah,
so
Rising.
What were scary like zombie enemies in Resident Evil 4 just 2 years before were now a whole shopping mall that you could just mow down with a literal fucking lawnmower.
Yeah.
So
now, to be fair, that enemy AI was significantly simpler.
That's true.
But at the same time, yeah, you could do more than just, you know...
Are these two dudes the exact same character model?
They're all three of them are the same character model.
Fuck me, talk about lazy.
Yeah.
Look, if you're only gonna give us like 6 characters at a time, at least do different models for them. What did you spend the 6 years working on?
Oh yeah, I forgot. We tapped the button to reload faster, which isn't a bad mechanic.
Yeah, I think
I could tell that's a product of like the time, because Gears of War and stuff was like, I think that was like the first game that really made it. It's like you can reload in kind of a different way than normal.
Yeah, Gears of War was all about this like tactical thing and just sort of keeping this constant pacing.
Yeah.
Although it had its moments of downtime, but yeah, it had the pacing, and I think the active reload system was cool.
It does have one of the greatest tutorial levels in video game history. The second.
Oh, with Carmine?
Yeah, like you could just say,
you're going the wrong way. By the way.
I am. Yeah. Well, I was gonna go back to the light just to heal up.
I was gonna say follow that little yellow dot on your tracker thingy up there.
Oh right. There's probably one over there. Anyway. Okay, so wait. Well, maybe there's something in here as well. Oh yeah, because that's right. Light leads you to treasure or something. Leads you to like equipment, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
Man, it's only been a week and I've already forgotten half of the mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
Moonshine.
I'm excited.
Man, that is someone did not put a lot of thought into that title.
Moonshine Cave.
It's like,
well, I think it's a double meaning, because it's moonshine, but also the moon shines through light.
Okay, smart ass. Listen, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. You shut your mouth with all your intellectualism.
Since when are you from the Pacific Northwest?
I'm from the Midwest. It's the closest thing.
Yeah, the closest thing. I
Not
guess
really.
I mean, sure. I'm 3,000 miles away from it, and you're 2,000 miles away from it.
Well, aren't you closer to the... No, wait. No, I am technically closer to the
Have you been to the Pacific Northwest?
Well, I mean, I've been to California. I've been to Northern California, I should say.
Yeah, that's close, I guess.
It's closer.
Washington, Oregon is the real...
I went to Alaska once and got sucked on by an octopus when I was a kid.
Nice.
But what was funny
Utah's also cool.
Utah is really nice, I must say. Like, especially the skiing.
Mormons,
Mormons are always nice. Have you ever heard of the great prophet Joseph Smith? Did you used to go around just telling people about that?
Only if they tried to tell me about Jesus. Then I would tell them about Joseph Smith and the amazing third parts of the Bible they didn't know about.
God bless Joseph Smith.
Fucking apparently he did. He blessed him with many, many wives, most of whom were underage.
Oh God. Well, that was more Brigham Young's thing, right?
Nah, it was both of them.
It was both of them.
I think Brigham Young was even the one who made the call, like, I think we gotta stop the multiple wives thing. The government's gonna fucking kill us if we keep doing it. I thought he was the one who
made that a thing. Huh?
No, he was the one who said that black people can't be priests.
Oh, okay. He was that guy.
Yeah. He pulled it right out of his ass, too. Like, there were already black priests, and then one day he just went like, yeah, you can't do it. And then it stayed until like 1979. They finally.
Oh, it's a heavy enemy. Okay.
Super battle droid.
You know what game we should play? A lot of those old Star Wars games, like Republic Commando. You ever hear about that game?
Yeah, I played the fuck out of Republic Commando. Yeah. I played it like 2 years ago even.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's pretty good. It was like back before my parents would let me get Halo. It was like the closest thing.
Yeah. Should we switch off whenever someone dies?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Also, God bless Halo still, the original especially.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to play Halo in a while.
Oh, hey, it refills. Wait, do you still have the shotgun?
Oh, yeah, but I'm gonna try.
Well, what's funny is it refilled all of your ammo, so maybe the best way to progress in this game is to just die.
Just die.
Over
that was
and
the problem.
again.
That's the biggest problem in Bioshock 1 and Infinite is that you can just die and just keep hitting your enemies again.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, at least in Bioshock 1, you can turn that off at the very least.
The,
In Infinite, you can't really do that.
Fuck me.
Nah, you go ahead. That was too quick.
Alright. Wow. That's how bad I am at this shit.
You better make it count, dude, before you can say you can give it to me. Yeah, that is a design flaw, as you're saying, with those kind of games.
Yeah. I think it also just doesn't make a lot of sense with the story of Bioshock. Like, it's really shoehorned in that... Oh,
Yeah.
Also, Andrew Ryan just decided that he might die at any given moment, and he's got a lot of chambers, and they only work with his DNA, except when you bash him in the fucking face with a golf club. I guess golf clubs make it so the Vita chambers don't work.
Actually, no, there is a reason. Is because it only works for, like, in a certain range, and the one that's in his is broken. He destroyed it.
Oh.
But it's still a flimsy excuse.
Yeah. It's, at least...
I still like that other version, though, better, is that golf clubs negate
Yeah.
the defeated chambers.
There's something in the middle, you know, it blocks the... You're like, whoa.
Jesus.
They were just, like, chilling, watching their buddies die.
Well, you know, the beast that turned them this way taught them proper enemy AI etiquette.
So, okay, like, a big deal is made about this town, but all the actual gameplay we do is just in the woods, like, on hiking trails outside the town.
That's a good point.
And how many fucking people are in the woods at night? Like, I get... like...
Oh, whoops.
Are these people nighttime loggers? Are they economically dependent on going out into the... Because everyone in the town knows... It's established that everyone in the town knows about the darkness and shit. Like, they're just playing willful...
it is?
Yeah, I think so. They just play willful ignorant.
Oh, okay.
That's like they like the drunk dude in the cell. He tells you to turn the light on because he knows what happens. And so yeah, like are these all loggers, or are they like saying goodbye to their wife at night?
Okay,
like,
you know what? I'm
like,
just
look,
gonna run
I know
away.
it's dangerous and I might become a zombie to be shot in the face by some author dude, but like I gotta put food on the table. I'm going out to cut some trees in the nighttime.
I mean, hey, man. There's something off about the design of this for some reason in terms of the shooting, and I'm trying to put my finger on it.
The fact that there's no reticle?
No, it's not that. Like that I actually think works okay.
Oh, and here's another of our Resident Evil 4 chainsaw, dude.
Oh man, that would make this game better.
Yeah.
That game is... It shouldn't work, and yet it does.
See, I think one of the one of the problems with this game is that it's kind of boring.
It kind of is, yeah.
Like we've been doing this, and
we've been trying to like.
We're in a spooky woods, trying to make it interesting. Like there's monsters, spooky woods, good atmosphere, a light mechanic, and a.
For some reason, it's not clicking. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are we on nightmare difficulty or something? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, maybe we should tone this down.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're not in nightmare difficulty mode. We're just bad gamers. That's okay. I'm not sure. This is also a weird thing, I think, is the fact that none of them they take you kind of by surprise, but they're also very...
Yeah, the camera like turns to go, look, jump scare.
I know, yeah. That's like... I know, like...
Are you trying to be a horror game or an action game?
Exactly.
Like, what is
it? It's... I think that's actually the real problem with it, is that it doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Here, actually, I'd say you just charge through and try to get to that light as fast as possible, so that maybe you can...
Oh, yeah.
Because it's never a good sign when your first instinct in an action game is to just want to run through all these exciting encounters.
Yeah. Another thing, too, is that I think... we've compared this to The Last of Us, and in a favorable comparison to The Last of Us did have the element of stealth.
Yeah.
Which there is a game series that has incorporated light, dark like elements with stealth really well, and that's the Splinter Cell series. Especially,
that's a really good point.
Yeah, the Chaos Theory especially is a fantastic game.
I need to
I think does
play
it
Chaos Theory in its entirety. I've only really played Conviction a lot. That one's okay.
Yeah, it also, I think, it came out the same year as this one did, and it also had a long development time starting in like 2005, went through a ton of changes, and ended up with a much faster, more action-oriented approach. Again, it feels like the industry was just forcing so many games that really didn't need to be so actiony. They just Jesus.
Let me try. Yeah. I think we need to at least take down one or two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like everything has to be, the open stuff, because back in this day, and because back then, kids, if you don't remember, the third-person action game cover-based shooting was kind of the copy and paste format for all games.
It was really standard.
Yeah, and it's still kind of standard, but it kind of stopped being oversaturated because now, we have third-person action games. Okay, that's right. You have to dodge at the right time to get yourself a bit of a boost. Ow! The other thing this game could have learned from Resident Evil 4 is, I know we can move, but you need to have a bit slower moving enemies.
Yeah, if they're melee and you have a gun, then it's...
That's the thing.
Also, Resident Evil 4 had the element of you could either waste all your ammo and shoot wildly, or you could aim for the head. Yeah. And this game has that, but you also got to hit it with the light first, and it's just too much extra shit to deal with.
It feels like they're throwing way too much at us, because the thing is we have to focus on one of them unless we have a flare gun, and we don't.
Yeah, it makes sort of the whole light thing just feel like a gimmick more than a mechanic.
If they really kind of tried to pare it down to, say, one really strong enemy that you have to face and then use the light, I think it would work better, but because you have to keep shifting your attention.
Yep.
Also, I'm going to run back. Maybe those other two spawn when we move. Okay.
They could have done more with light-based weapons.
There's the flare gun, but there really isn't any other one.
I think there might be, you get, individual flares later, and maybe, flashbangs, but there's got to be more you can do with with that. I mean, you've got enemies that are affected by something other than bullets, but here we are shooting them with bullets.
Yeah.
And of course, none of them know how to operate guns, or I get I figured.
Oh, you shot a gun recently or something?
What? No, I'm saying none of these enemies know how to operate guns.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what does you knowing how to use a gun have to do with anything?
I haven't shot a gun in since 2014.
We haven't talked about school shootings for a while, man. When at one point.
Why did I talk about that shit at some point?
You talked about that at one point. Yeah. Oh. I don't think I even cut it out. This is why our original videos are going to probably become privated later in our lives.
The government's going to be like, we found some things.
Listen, it may have been me, but we were on shrooms at the time. Wait, no. Pot's legal now, right?
Yeah, it is.
God bless it. I mean, I don't even do pot, but I'm glad it's legal now here.
Yeah, stop getting so many fucking black people thrown in jail for no goddamn reason.
That's the real thing.
Yeah.
I don't care about... Hey, the fact is that it's just,
keep some people out of the fucking system.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's depressing.
Yeah.
Really, the difference between us now is that 2 years of cynicism has just happened, and we've forced ourselves to grow up.
You really can't, in the current world,
It's hard to maintain childish whimsy.
Yeah. It's...
Case in point, what else do you think Pixar
we have a fascist president. What the fuck you want?
Yeah.
You gotta try and find the...
you go for it. Fuck this. I will say, like I said, we've been talking about the bad things, but like I said, I think it's just the problem is it's not focused enough to really do something, which is a problem with a lot of media, a lot of books, movies, TV shows, is when a game is when they want everybody to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
This is part of the reason why Fury Road kind of... Listen, I'm considering making my own film school based around just using Fury Road as the example of how to do everything right, basically. because the whole point of it is that it sets a goal and it wants to do this one thing really well, so it dedicates all of its resources to doing this particular story justice.
Which is what another Half-Life, I'd say. The Fury Road of video games.
It's the Fury Road plus Die Hard plus everything.
Again, is this a horror game or an action game?
Yeah.
Spooky must show up, but they're all dramatically saved by some dude, but...
I wanted him to give us like a heavy-duty 9-volt flashlight. It's like, this is what you really need.
That's not a flashlight. This is a flashlight.
Okay, this feels like how
we're getting
should
something.
Be more focused. Yeah, now something's interesting is starting to happen.
Starting to go somewhere. Yeah, these fights they were just feeling real padded out.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, if you think about. Let me guess, you keep using the wrong one.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, we restart and we have all 6 flares magically back in our hands. But yeah, like what's interesting about Half-Life is, it kind of goes through its own phase where you're kind of in a little bit of a survival horror mode at the beginning, but it's still mostly action because you're not sneaking around monsters, you're still beating them up. It's just you need to be more, you just need to be, hit and run tactics. Whereas later on, when you get tougher, you can like power through it like traditional first-person shooter style. Can we just talk about Half-Life now, because Half-Life is like the greatest video game ever made?
Yeah, I don't know. I think pretty much everything in Half-Life has been talked about, but yeah, it is fantastic. I mean, Half-Life is a game where at every single step in the way they clearly stopped themselves from ever like lazying out, and they thought like, how can we make this as good as it possibly can be? Exactly. And obviously there's like old stuff that's dated now, like the tram sequence, but the tram sequence is still memorable, and a lot of games have tram sequences that aren't. But you remember the one. You remember the one from Half-Life. Like they threw in at least enough.
That scared the fuck out of me.
It didn't scare me. Wow, this dude had a perfect opportunity to sneak up and he fucking missed.
He fucked it up, man. Man, he got laughed out of enemy AI in school. Yeah, but Half-Life to me is kind of like just use that as the standard for everything, especially with first-person shooters, in terms of if you do what Half-Life did, because Half-Life understood gotta focus on this one thing, and we did it extremely, extremely well.
Yeah.
Is it a perfect game? No, but it's about as perfect a game that game made by humans can probably be.
Yeah, pretty much. And it also, I mean, Half-Life just also has a great understanding of like building tension, suspense, pacing.
Especially game design in particular.
Yeah. I remember I've seen a documentary recently where there's just there was like someone who was developing a different 3D shooter at the time, and they were all like, they were almost done, they were real proud of it, and then the Half-Life demo came out, and it was just he said it was just like a moment around their office where they were all just like, they were just like, oh, gee, well, we're worthless now.
I think like, that was the Gearbox guys, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, all right, maybe it was someone who later worked for Gearbox, but was pre...
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. It's the one where they're talking about what happened to Half-Life 3, right?
No, it wasn't that. It was just...
No. It's like, why is Half-Life so revered or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And
the one where the dude went on like a tour of America and stuff. Yeah.
There's one of my favorite ones is when Cory Barlog is interviewed. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's the guy who he helped make God of War and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love this moment where he's like, I'm making this 3D hack and slash, and I'm still going like, man, just can we do it more like Half-Life? It's like, and I'm like, that's why else do you think? Why else do you think the new God of War was so good, and why Cory Barlog's a good director? Is he learned the lessons from Half-Life essentially? I feel like there's this one point where I got really scared because Neil Druckmann was on Twitter and he's like, hey, Valve, let us make Half-Life 3. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I like you guys, but no. I don't want you to cut to some cutscene where Nolan North is voicing Gordon Freeman.
Oh, God.
And I would just be like, no offense, I like you guys, but you are the absolute wrong people to make that game.
Yeah, pretty much. I think... There was another lightning thing about that interview in terms of making the most out of everything that you have. is that like the gravity gun came out because in their developer system they could just whip bodies around and knock things over, and it was a ton of fun. And they noticed they were all having a ton of fun dicking around with that, and they were like, okay, how can we put this in the players' hands and do something with that? Like, they just found something really cool.
Yeah.
And they decided to show it to us.
There's a reason why when Valve was the game developers, they were like, the greatest game developers of all time, at least in America.
Yeah. Here we are.
I do know a lot of people
thinking about Half-Life while shining a flashlight on this monster.
Half-Life is like that singularity where everything must come back to Half-Life for the point of comparison. So it's like if a game can be more like Half-Life, that can only basically be a good thing.
Yeah.
Does he react to your flashlight in his face?
A little bit. I think so. I think he's sort of shining.
I mean, that's the thing is, these developers clearly want to make like a TV show. You guys are making a game. Embrace the fact that you're making a game. It's not that you can't have elements of a television show. We're not being Yahtzee here, where you're frowning upon all that stuff. But you do have to understand like what this is primarily.
Yeah. And I mean, imagine if there was a television show like this where there's like first 20 minutes it's just people talking, and then suddenly they just shoot things for the last act of the episode.
Yeah, that's called The Matrix, excuse you.
Is there a Matrix TV series?
No, that's what the Matrix movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it's talking for like a bunch of hours, and then suddenly they just start shooting people.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like...
Has your opinion on The Matrix changed?
Nah, I still basically don't like it. I never really liked it.
Yeah, fair enough. I do like my girlfriend. I won't say her name, but she saw it for a class, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that movie's okay." And she's like, "Oh, I've heard a lot about it." I'm like, "It's okay." And then after she saw it, I was like, "Well, how was it?" And she's like, "It was okay."
Yeah.
And then my dad, he was like asking, and I was like, "Yeah, she saw The Matrix for the first time." I was like, "Oh my God, you saw The Matrix? What do you think?" She's like, "It was okay." It was like, "Just okay?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" It's like, Dad, you need to watch this movie again. It has not aged as well as you remember it.
No, it sort of lacks that sense of fun that like the John Woo, like 'cause people like the action in The Matrix, but
Yeah.
it's like the same stylings from John Woo, who just does all that stuff better.
Yeah.
Not to be like the pretentious person who, oh, I know the Hong Kong movie, but watch the Hong Kong action movies.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous, they're fun as hell, and the action is, it's like the Matrix style stuff, but
Yeah.
like really
Embraces
embracing the
it more.
fun.
Yeah. Back to Alan Wake, though. We gotta keep this thing focused.
Yeah. Oh, we can't keep focused. The game can't keep focused.
See, this is actually a experience of Let's Play reflecting the tone of the game's content.
I mean...
It's supposed to be about a Let's Play and talk about the game, but we keep going on tangents about movies all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, I mean, because with all this just sort of padded out action...
There is one other interesting note
about.
I found out, and I forgot to mention this, while we're talking about enemies, is apparently all of the humans were motion captured, which is, that's standard, but
Yeah.
apparently all the enemies were key animated, so they were animated traditionally.
Yeah.
Because apparently they thought it had a kind of jerky motion to it, which, I think hand animated stuff could still look lifelike and great, but I understand what they're going for, and I think that's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting.
I'd like to see more games embrace stuff like that, is really embrace kind of like certain limitations of a medium or like differences of the medium.
Yeah. Different ways to do things.
Yeah. And I think what's frustrating about this game, as we keep saying this, is there's a lot of like missed potential in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking now they were just showing like these people sort of being shadowy in first, and I think like, okay, so let's say, here's a concept: your enemies are based around shadow. Now, you ever been through a spooky woods at night, and you just look at a shadow of something, and you think, Jesus fuck, was that a shadow of something else? And then you realize it wasn't.
Yeah.
You like, what if maybe you looked at something that was a shadow, and it was just a shadow at first, but then the shadow like forms into a monster.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing, but instead we just have these.
I'd pull out a
these
flare
zombies.
as a big guy.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. Thanks for the.
But as you were saying.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot more you could have done with this premise.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ran out of
feel-
money or.
I think I think you were pointing out at one point that Life is Strange really embraced the stylized look of it, and I feel this would have embraced if the shadows were like much more like shadows.
Fuck, I got one hit in?
Jesus. But it's like
one hit point wonder over here.
Yeah, it's like One Punch Man up in here. You ever seen that show?
Yeah, I saw one episode. It was really funny.
Yeah, it is a pretty funny show. I've tried to get back into anime, but anime is a hard thing to love sometimes.
It's
mostly because a lot of it is incredibly sexist and, made for kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to love because I love a friend of mine. He pointed out this is what anime fans are usually like, at least in high school, is that there are those who love it unconditionally of all kinds. And then there's that 10% of douchebags who are like, listen, it all sucks except for this 10%, which is the greatest thing ever. And I was kind of that
99% of everything, or 90% of everything is crud. Someone said that about sci-fi back in the day, like 90% of it is crud, and he was just, and I forget which author it was, but he's like 99% of
probably
everything.
Philip K. Dick or somebody. No,
it wasn't
Arthur C.
It wasn't
Clarke,
him.
actually,
it might have been Arthur C. Clarke. I don't think it was
because he and Stanley Kubrick was saying like all these sci-fi movies are kind of shit. Let's try and make one that's respectable. Which, to be fair, at the time was kind of true. Though there were there was days the Earth stood still and stuff like that, but. It was mostly because sci-fi was kind of like a cheap thing to make and stuff.
That was actually the way the Twilight Zone got away with being sort of more controversial, was that no one was paying attention.
Science fiction,
because people were like, oh, it's just a silly sci-fi show. And people were like, what? I have no respect for that. It can't be doing anything.
Yeah. You know what else would be good about these flares? Because I know the light is linked to your health. What if the flares also gave you a little bit of a boost of health?
Yeah, that would be nice.
And the thing is like, oh, here's an interesting idea. Okay, so hear me out on this. I think this might be interesting. Since this is... If they were going for more of a horror game, what if the light not only does it repel enemies, but refilled your health and was the main means of refilling your health? So you'd have to choose between getting enemies off of you and healing up.
Yep, that is an interesting thing you could do.
Yeah.
You could even maybe do something interesting like... the moon is particularly bright tonight, but there's clouds going over it.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
a good idea.
sometimes the setting just changes between
this
light and dark.
Dev suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, but
Let's
that's the
keep
thing
doing
is that
that.
This game is just all missed opportunities.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's so much. Like, there's a reason there was people excited about it, and I think there's a reason it has a cult following because it did take at least enough steps to put enough potential in there, but it didn't deliver.
Yeah.
And Dontnod, of all people, did deliver on that potential.
Sarah! That's still the greatest shouting of a female character ever is Jeff Goldblum shouting Sarah. Man, you know what could be improved? You know how everything could be improved in life?
How?
If Jeff Goldblum was in everything.
Was involved, yeah.
If Jeff Goldblum and Bruce Campbell were in everything, everything would be improved.
There's some things where, like, I wouldn't want like a Israel-Palestine peace talk to have Jeff Goldblum in the room.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know what he'd do, but he'd fuck something up.
Yeah, I will say though, in terms of movies, there's like almost no downside to having Jeff Goldblum, except maybe if he was in Schindler's List and he was playing.
I'm gonna kill your kids. Go across that log.
Yeah, no, I'm just checking to see if there's some ammo over here.
Oh, gotcha.
Listen, I know what I'm doing. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Just trying to keep the pace of the episode.
No,
up.
fair. He's like, I'm fucking freezing. He's like, oh, good. I saw that for its 25th anniversary because, as you know, I decided when I was 16 that was my favorite movie. And
wait, which movie?
Schindler's List.
Oh, yeah. How was it on the rewatch?
It was quite good. It's also funny because I remember a lot of people were like,
"That's
man,
weird to be your favorite movie."
I know it's
a
a weird thing to say, but I still think it's just.
I really like watching Schindler's List.
Well, it's not.
I watch it every day.
Have you heard of that?
Imagine hearing that episode at like a bar.
Have you heard that
back
joke
away so fucking fast?
Have you heard that?
Oh, there's a monster that way. That must be the way you gotta
go. Have you heard that joke about Christopher Nolan and Solaris? You ever heard of Solaris?
No.
So Solaris.
Oh, I've heard the name Solaris.
Well, Solaris is kind of big because it has, the dead wife trope, where it turns out it's a dead wife. And so it's like Christopher Nolan every night watches Solaris and thinks, she's so beautiful, but she's so dead every night.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with Christopher Nolan, is women seem to conspicuously keep dying in all of his works to motivate the male characters.
I mean, this here again is another example of a man in a sports coat with a short haircut who's got a missing or dead wife.
Christopher Nolan, he watches it every night and thinks she's so dead.
It's
man, these bear traps really glow a lot.
Yeah, way to fucking take away the fear. Like,
I mean, yeah.
What? I mean, why? Why? It's a bear trap. Why would you make it glowing?
Man, these are literally. Oh, okay. I guess it glows because of the. No.
Well, they don't.
No, they're just glowing. I mean, okay.
And then they glow.
Okay, I think it's because you have to put the flashlight over it, then it glows a little bit. But
the flashlight's always on.
Exactly.
It's like the way you see.
What? I'm confused by this design because
if you're gonna make it so easy for the player, don't fucking put it in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like Resident Evil 4 where you can genuinely get.
Yeah, you get stuck in those and it
it's
hurts.
Scary. And it hurts. Like.
And it's also like it takes away some of your health bar, and you're like, oh shit. Oh, that must be.
Wait, where? Oh, over there. I see.
Oh, over there. No, there was just a cab in the other direction, but
was there an arrow?
No, there's just.
Oh wait,
it's across. It's across from a. It's across.
Okay. But
people just leaving their bullets everywhere. Oh, I guess
in the boxes too.
Guess you got enough.
Okay,
bullets.
hang on, wait.
Product placement.
Oh wait, what is this?
It's just a barrel with like. Oh, I think.
Well, I was
Coke.
asking what kind of. Why are these? Okay, there we go. I was about to be like, why would you stack them up if you can't shoot them down?
I'm just thinking, what the fuck are those cans made out of?
Yeah. Man, did a carnival make them? Are they just all glued together? That would be awesome if you shot it and they all just fell down simultaneously.
They just wobble and tip.
Yeah. Oh, I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
Aw.
Fucking.
This is fun. This keeps me looking forward. Oh God. Oh.
Oh no.
No.
It's coming to get you, Barbara.
What a movie, by the way.
Yeah. Dawn of the Dead's still better. But...
Oh well, yeah. Dawn of the Dead is like.
I feel like it doesn't.
Didn't we bond over that movie?
We did, yeah. And then I got really, really, really drunk. And then, yeah. We became friends mostly because of Yahtzee, right? I forget. I just remember us in class talking about movie critics online.
I can't remember how we started hanging out outside of class, but
I think you were like, want to go to Subway?
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think you like saw me outside of class one day because I went to like a different thing, and I was real strung out. I was real strung out at the time, and I was like, food. I have not eaten.
Fuck it. I mean.
Yeah, and they gotta announce that the monsters are behind you.
Yeah.
What better way to scare you with scary monsters behind you than to tell you that they're behind you?
Yeah. I mean, the way to design stuff like this is typically what you do is like, if it's a surprise attack, you'll usually have it so that the first attack does like not that much damage or it misses. And then the player, if they notice it, then it's up to them to realize, oh shit, I'm being sneak attacked.
Yeah.
Which is something, if I remember correctly, I think Resident Evil 4 did that.
It would. Resident Evil 4 is real good about having quiet moments and having the enemies have like, they make little gurgling noises and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're always on your toes. But it usually, every now, like if there was like a boss, the boss would loudly announce himself.
Oh yeah.
But for the smaller enemies, they wouldn't do that. They just sort of appear.
Yeah. If you looked at them, then they like said something in Spanish that was probably offensive.
Yeah.
But, it's like, yeah, like Resident Evil 4 is another one of those games where it's like, there's a reason why everybody ripped it off because they did a lot right. And
yeah.
It is one of those rare games where they did action horror really well, and I think a lot of games tried to. It's a hard thing to balance. By the way, back there was some ammo. You might want to go back.
Oh yeah, probably a good idea.
I also want to reload just to be safe.
Also probably a good idea.
That's the advantage of
Do
having
we have a
another
hunting
person
rifle
there.
now?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, I wasn't using
I'd
it.
say save it a bit more. Well, actually use it a bit for some of that, but keep some shells on for the big guys.
Yeah. I guess I gotta go this way.
Also, no offense, but I don't think anybody would be running like that with one hand on a rifle. Those things are heavy, man.
They are heavy. Yeah, you're getting the barrel all dirty and shit. This thing is a safety hazard.
God. Yeah. Yowza. No, I don't think they have any exploding barrels. Fucking amazing as that.
A rare case where again that would create like a light thing. Fire.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why didn't they use fire as a mechanic? Fucking Jesus.
What? Yeah, it's like. I know we're getting mad. It's like no offense to these guys. Like I said, we want to put the caveat is that these guys clearly seem to really care about what they're doing, and they're
it seems like they
nice
cared
people.
most about building levels, making the textures look nice, and all that. But all these places where it would have count and switch this game from us dredging the lake of old bullshit for a
dragging
show.
the lake. Remember,
yeah, exactly.
That's the name of this channel.
Well, we wouldn't be if we wouldn't like. These are all suggest that maybe would have taken this game from being, something that we got to drag the lake to find to instead being like
decent.
Yeah, something good, something that we wouldn't even have to talk about, like something we would compare other games to.
Yeah.
But
maybe we shouldn't even call this mediocre marvels because these aren't marvels. Maybe we should call them marvelously mediocre.
Yeah, maybe. Or just mediocre
blank.
Yeah. mediocre
blank.
...
Now, mediocre marvels to me is like one of the few good titles I've created in a long time.
Yeah,
so.
it's good. Sums up the.
Oh, you stepped over it.
Yeah.
But it looked like you got hit from the left.
It does tap into that human fear of stepping in dog shit.
Okay, for real. Developers, just to let you know, when you're creating hit animations, you need to have the more than one animation for your hits to make sure that the player knows where it's coming from. And this may seem like a small thing, but it's big in gameplay. It's like that thing when somebody points out if there's a half-second delay on a button, and people are like, well, it's only a half-second, but it's like, in the thick of combat, half a second is like really important.
Yeah.
So developers, make sure that you have, when he steps over something, don't make him flinch like he just got shot in the chest.
Yeah. Also, it's weird to have in a game where you literally can't see your feet. It's sort of weird to have,
Wait, can we not see our feet?
Most of the time. I mean, you can, but most of the time you're just looking over the shoulder.
Yeah. Okay, what's also funny is there's also another piece of product placement that this is really funny is that an Alan and Alice's car has a Microsoft-powered Ford Sync in-vehicle entertainment system.
I remember that. Yeah, you can see the sync is very clear, very blatant.
Yeah. Also, what's apparently funny is I don't think we've heard another pop song or anything lately, but apparently there's a lot of difficulty getting the rights to the music for this game.
Oh, I did hear about that actually. Yeah, it was off Steam for about a year.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was off Steam for about a year. And to be fair, I'm there's a good reason why they used half of these songs because I think most of them are usually just references to stuff they liked.
If the way around the block is right next to it.
What if you had like a torch, like not like the light, not like a flashlight torch. I mean an actual torch, like in Red Dead Redemption.
Or maybe
Nightmare.
Maybe Alan Wake is he's a stressed out writer. Maybe he's a smoker and he's got a cigarette lighter in his back pocket. Yeah. And maybe it's like it can create in certain situations like just enough light to get by.
Yeah, that's a good or like to melt off like the goop and stuff like that. That goop just like you're saying, it looks like dog shit and it doesn't like literally it just looks like it's there for no reason.
Yeah.
It feels like they should have really designed it more around like rooms that are just covered in the stuff.
Yeah, Alien style.
Yeah, that's a good point of reference. And not take it so long to like get them out. Just make it so that once you shine the light on it, it gets neutralized, and it will come back if you don't shut it
How many
on too
times
long.
in this level are we gonna be almost at the place we need to be, but it's on top of a hill?
Remember, this was also the era when Bioshock was really popular, and that was an epidemic. One of the problems I have with that.
Oh,
game,
where every single thing you need to do has like 6 extra steps.
Yeah. Because conveniently, in this one instance, something wasn't working right, so you have to go and fix that. But to be fair, that was more of like a System Shock 2 thing that they just never fixed. Oh, chainsaws!
Chainsaw Man.
Okay. We give you props.
This is a
slightly
T-rated
better.
game where we won't see Alan Wake's face get chopped off, but alright. You did use a chainsaw guy.
I mean, it's not going to cut through us. It's just going to make us fall like we just got hit in the chest
There
by
is
a bullet.
admittedly a difference between being inspired by Resident Evil 4 and just straight ripping it off,
Yeah.
but...
I mean, inspired by Resident Evil 4 is... Yeah, I don't think we can ever really outrun these.
Yeah,
Inspired by
I was just
Resident
trying
Evil
to
4...
get to light.
Yeah. Inspired by Resident Evil 4 is stuff like, Dead Space to me is like the only game that really kind of came close to capturing the spirit. The first one.
Definitely, Dead Space had a fun enough mechanic in the dismemberment.
Yeah.
And that most of your tools aren't guns; they're like they're power tools. Yeah.
Well, this is also in the era when the subtle kind of horror game was kind of going away. So I think a lot of the hate towards it was because it wasn't like a Silent Hill or an Alien type game, which is what Alien Isolation ended up being.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that?
No, I never did.
I do have it. I started playing it. It's all right.
Oh, did you hear about the thing that modders figured out with Colonial Marines?
Wait, what did they find out?
So you know how the aliens
You mean their AI?
Yeah, their AI.
Yeah.
So it turns out that the way the AI functioned was that all their stuff was based around a tether. That was like a place that they spawned and like a place where it's sort of supposed to be based from.
Yeah.
And it was one line of code. In the game.
I think it did hear about
It turns out that the word tether was misspelled in the key bit of code that would signal the aliens, like when you see thing, respond to your tether. So now they just were directed to something they just weren't directed to something, which is why sometimes they just, pardon me, don't mind me, just walking by. I clearly gone to the wrong place, kind of shit they do. And modders have found that there's a lot wrong with that game. The AI is at least like greatly improved by just they spelled tether
error.
like Heather, like TEA.
Maybe somebody
probably
had
follow that sign.
Maybe somebody had a really bad breakup with a lady named Heather.
He's just Freudian slip.
Fuck you, Heather.
Oh, he was typing
Freudian
it out.
slip.
He's like Tether Heather. How
My
I
heart
miss
is
her.
broken.
Yeah. Maybe was Aliens Colonial Marines like a form of self-harm to get her attention back?
Honestly, I could totally buy it.
He's like, look, I'm worthless without you. Look what I made.
That game makes a lot of sense. This is also a good segue to the game we're thinking about next doing, and it's not Alien
The
Colonial
Saboteur?
Marines. No. You voted Alien vs. Predator.
I think the Saboteur is better.
Saboteur is a better game, but Alien vs. Predator is
I
interesting.
just really want to talk about the Saboteur. It's also the Saboteur is a game that it's got so many just like little quirks and shit. Like I mean, if we do a let's play, you'll see it. But
we're gonna do it.
It's got my favorite corner cutting measure that makes in any game that makes it just if I could sum it up, like the whole experience of the game is that Sean's sprint function is incredibly fast, and also the animation for it is literally just the run animation fast forward. It looks fucking ridiculous, and it's hilarious, and I can't.
Okay, now we're definitely playing that.
I think you need to somehow get into that garage with that.
Yeah. Man, I've been watching this guy who makes videos about certain games. He's actually decent. Like he's bringing up certain games that I completely forgot about.
We're gonna get a shout out here. What's the name? Come on, don't leave us hanging.
I can't remember now. It's Purple Programmer something. I'll put a name in the.
Man, purple's really a thing lately. Even I'm usually decked out in purple.
Well, purple's
hair
a lovely
and all
color.
That. It is a lovely color. It's great. It's not like quite a warm color or a cool color. It's just sort of purple. It's doing its own thing. Fucking love purple.
Hey, I'm gonna be. Oh.
Whoa.
Okay, that was good. That's how you're supposed to do it.
I guess he's got.
I guess he really had to take a dump. Was in there for a while. And then Alan Wake came in. He's like, "Oh fuck is he here?
He's pulling up his pants real quick in the bathroom, like, oh, I gotta go.
Why else do you think it took him a little bit to get to you?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not supposed to
Man,
be in
I'm
here.
sort of feeling bad because you know what happens because the power's out in this room, so that guy's probably just really had to shit, and he knew going into the dark was scary. He knew he was risking getting turned into a monster, but it was risking that or shitting his pants, and he went straight for the...
he had to have the dignity, after all.
Yeah.
You can survive these monsters. You can't survive shitting your pants in this world. Maybe I'm supposed to actually drive this car.
It's just like, well, it's a small town. Everyone knows each other, so he knows that it's like he may be a monster, but like the other thing... Oh.
Okay.
Duh. The other thing about it, it's either that or he's gonna be old shit pants McGregor of the town. He's like got to decide.
Oh yeah, that's right. There are driving sequences in this game.
Oh god, I did forget that too.
Did you know that Killer 7 got released on Steam?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so I've been playing it lately, and man, they're not joking when they say the gameplay is absolute cretins. It's terrible, but it is fascinating in a weirdly weird way. You ever played parts of it?
No, I've never played any Pseudo.
Okay, let me put it this way. It's a rail shooter, but the thing is you have the thumbstick, so it looks like it's a third-person game, but you realize you can only go in two directions, forwards or backwards. You can't go in any other direction. So it's like a rail shooter, but you're following along a track in a third-person camera. Then you hold down a button to, go into aim mode. And you switch between,
I think you just got to get out of the car.
Yeah. How do I get out of the car?
Probably Y.
No, it's B.
No.
Y would make too much sense for this game.
I feel like that's usually the get out of the car button. It's Y.
That is usually the get out of the car button. Y is a lovely, lovely little button. I'm sure we probably could have explored that level back there, and I feel that's how the game should have functioned.
Yeah.
Kind of having the way to progress to the next level is you'd have to survive long enough and find a car.
Yeah,
I
in an
know.
open world, perhaps finding a car in an open world game, a car might give you a certain edge.
You know one game that's really great that there needs to be another game too? I mean a sequel
Wait,
to?
just shoot a flare. You got a flare gun.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Hit the big one.
Hang on, just getting back. Prototype. You ever play that?
No, I didn't.
That is the definition of stress reliever game. Like
I just remember that the main character's hoodie never falls down, no matter how fast that he runs.
Yep, never falls down.
Which is a thing.
He also has a giant popped collar, and it's incredible.
Of course.
It's glorious.
2009 was a simpler time.
Yeah, it came out the same year as Infamous, so there's a lot of debate about which came first.
And they were dueling games.
Okay. I don't think that was the game. I think that was a glitch.
That was a weak door.
I think it was strong because he kicked it and then it fell over. It didn't even bust in. It just fell in. And we've seen that Alan Wake can obliterate fucking wood panels with his feet. So.
This dude is strong in the legs. So maybe just a nudge is like...
That must have been a strong door.
Yeah.
The hinges were just really
Maybe
weak.
that's why he jogs everywhere. He's just got too much restless energy. Like, he's just so strong and he needs someone to do it, something to do with it, so he just jogs everywhere.
You know John Krasinski was in 13 Hours, the Michael Bay Benghazi movie?
Wait, he was in that?
Yeah.
Jim from The Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why else do you think he was preparing
Why did
himself?
that movie exist? I mean, I know why. It's because there's a whole lot of the country that fucking dicks. And they want to see a fucking Benghazi movie. Like,
well, what's also funny is apparently the politics were kept mostly out of it, and they kind of played it like a war survival kind of movie or something.
yeah, like that's any better.
Well, I know. And plus, Michael Bay made it, so.
Yeah.
But it's like, so apparently, what's really funny is he was in this interview. I can't remember which late night talk show host. All of them besides Steven kind of blend together after all.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Trevor too.
Oh,
Trevor's a good host.
Trevor Noah's a good host.
He's not a good stand-up, but he's a good host.
Yeah, I think he gets too much shit just because he's following up Jon Stewart, and because black people just
they do get more
they
criticism.
get way more criticism than these other white people.
How many white people have been Me Too'd and we don't talk about them? We're just we're gonna keep talking about R. Kelly as opposed to Harvey Weinstein. You know Harvey Weinstein might get off.
What?
Yeah, he's been lawyering up like a motherfucker. He might get off that shit, but
he better not fucking get off that shit.
instead we've decided to make only black men the face of Me Too.
Yeah.
So, cause
I mean, it's not to take away from what R. Kelly did.
yeah, no, I mean these are all bad people, but
Yeah.
like there's people, there's plenty of white people in Hollywood who like if this is what the black people are up to, like what kind of shit do you think
The white people are up
have
to?
been doing? Fucking yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Boondocks all over again. I did see that episode. Well, it was in the first season after all.
Which episode are you talking about?
The R. Kelly one. You know?
Oh yeah, that was episode 2.
That was episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they right out of the gate
nailed
they
it.
came out swinging.
Yeah, they nailed it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have my own problems with that show sometimes. It is a good show. I think it's good.
You have called out the sexism in it, which is
Oh,
fair.
yeah, absolutely.
But again, it's it's black people commenting on black culture. There's not much that white people can really say. Like,
Exactly.
oh, this is really a conversation that you are just having. I'm just watching from the background.
Exactly.
Cultural research.
Yeah.
Do
Okay,
voice.
so am I supposed to go back and?
No, you got to defeat the birds.
Okay.
Are you not
oh
reading?
yeah, the flare gun. That's right.
Oh, right.
It makes sense. Okay. Okay. That line was legitimately funny to me.
It's nice that they gave it like a comic relief buddy. So
Yeah.
I think it's sort of weird.
It is weird.
Tonally.
I mean,
You also
we're
wonder-
I mean, this is before Joss Whedon kind of changed the name of the game. After all, since man, nobody really understands the problem with. Well, a lot of people have problems with today's like certain Marvel movies having like inconsistent tone problems. I'd say like inconsistent tone is done badly with like Tarantino and stuff. The only person who does it really
Tarantino's
well.
really bad with that.
He's really bad with it. Didn't you say at one point it's like you were watching Django and you're like, man, this went between spaghetti western and screwball comedy way too often.
Yeah, it does. There's like it gives you the feeling like if you were just flipping between Schindler's List or like Rape and The Killer.
12 Years a Slave.
And yeah, and it's just like, or yeah, just
You've
you know,
seen that, right?
No, I never saw 12 Years.
Oh,
Slave.
dude, that's great film.
It's,
But go ahead.
Yeah, I just sort of I tend to not watch like the Oscar type movies. I feel bad. I know I'm not a good woke person because I haven't seen Moonlight and 12 Years a Slave.
It's fine. You saw Sorry to Bother You. Makes up for it.
Yeah, I see
Great
the cool.
movie,
I see
by
the
the way.
cool indie woke movies. Thank you very much.
Have you seen 8th Grade?
No, I haven't.
I need to see that.
I like Bo, so I want to.
I don't like his stand-up, but he seems like a cool guy.
Oh, he's got his stand-up can go either way. Like I see why people wouldn't like Bo Burnham. Like there's some shit
Yeah,
that's just
it's
like
more of a taste.
there's
thing
some
for me.
things where it's like okay, you're clearly 18.
Yeah, yeah.
But he has certain gags that are just so fucking funny. To
There
me.
are good ones that work really
the one
well.
with do you know the gag with the water where like drinks invisible like he plays invisible trumpet, invisible drum, that he drinks
Yeah, I do
invisible
that-
water
that
and
one.
spits out a whole glass of real water after.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's a taste thing. It's not
Yeah.
about him. He seems like a nice guy, and apparently the movie's very good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Mm-hmm. Then again, I heard nothing but good things about Annihilation for a long time. And
Oh.
that
I've heard nothing but mixed things about that. That one is either people really like it or they really don't like it.
Oh, that's me on the opposite end. Is let's just say what it has to say about depression really kind of it was not
Misses
good.
the mark.
There's this one point when Natalie Portman's like, this isn't a spoiler, but she's being like questioned by like I can't remember his name, but he's been in a lot of movies. He's like the sidekick in Doctor Strange and stuff like that. And there's this one point when so it's trying to deal with how all these women have dealt self-harm to themselves, and then at one point the guy's like, why did you come back? And she's like, because I was the only one who had something to come back to. And I was just like,
Hope you come back soon.
fuck you.
Yeah. And here we are with the menacing end. We've got, I think this is now setting up Evil Woman there as like
Yeah.
sort of the villain.
Oh, there we go. There's a pop song. That means it must be ending. Man, we went for an hour and 37 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a breeze.
I feel like
Not the
Yeah.
game, but
the time, yeah. Well, one last note on this game before we
yeah.
end this episode for all 4 of you. Yeah, I just noticed that had a similar ending bit to like the Life is Strange episodes, with pan out and show the setting and everything. But again, to make another comparison, Life is Strange has us like live in the town and experience the town as opposed to just chilling out in the town during the day and then just going hiking in the woods every night.
Yeah, it reminds me of, there was like Fatal Frame. You've heard of the Fatal Frame series?
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, there's this one time when this one game where you'd go up into the mountains to like find dead people, and you'd expect them to be stuck up there, but they kept coming back after the end of each level. So they go up to the mountain, spook them out, and then come back home and sleep.
All right, that's pretty funny. on that note, thank you very much for watching. And if you've made it this far, thanks.
Don't worry, we'll contribute to the wiki.
And we'll be back probably
next
weekly-ish. Yeah, that's sort of the plan. So thank you very much. Signing off.
Bye.